Modern medicine is an ever-expanding field, so it's no surprise that there exists an ever-expanding dictionary of specialized medical terms. Two of the most commonly used ones are ICD-10, the International Classification of Diseases, and RX-Norm, a normalized dictionary used to classify prescription drugs. These two databases represent data in specific and different ways. ICD-10 contains afflictions of all sorts, and it's arranged in a hierarchical structure. Each disease can have one parent and any number of children and siblings. In this example, you can see that other diseases of blood and blood-forming organs includes a number of siblings as well as several children underneath it. RX-Norm represents data in a more explicit database form. Each drug has attributes and links to other items in the database. Despite all the conveniences of modern technology, it is still not a simple task to quickly look up terms in these databases. Currently, there exist websites that allow you to look up terms and codes using these databases. In a hospital environment, though, a computer with an internet browser is not often within arm's reach. These days, more and more people are carrying smartphones that can give them quick access to the web. However, a problem becomes obvious when you try and look up an ICD-10 or RX-Norm term on a mobile device. The RX-Norm search tool simply cannot be launched on a mobile device, and the ICD-10 site, while usable, is not optimized for such a small screen. There do exist a few apps that provide mobile access to ICD-10 and RX-Norm, but they each have their own problems. This ICD-10 search tool, while it looks nice, contains a number of typos and only displays the most basic information. And this RX-Norm app seems to be well designed, but it's only available for HP WebOS devices, which is a limited market to say the least. In an effort to create a solution for this problem, we have developed TOMCAT, the Tabulation of Medical Codes and Terminology. Our goal is to make a mobile web interface for both RX-Norm and ICD-10 that gives users access to this data quickly and easily. Alright, now I'm going to show you how it works. This is the home page, and as we click on the search bar, the title bar collapses to allow for more room. And we can start off by searching for an ICD-10 code. So we found rickets, and it'll search through ICD-10 and RX-Norm right now. And it brings up a number of results. If we click on one of these, it'll bring us to the code, which has the ICD-10 code, the name, and also a little bit of extra information if it has any. And then also from here we can look at the parent diagnosis because ICD-10 is a hierarchical structure. And we can also look at the siblings. And if there were children, we could look at those too. So for example, if I can jump to the parent here, we can see that it has itself a parent and it also has children, which are the same as the siblings that we just looked at. And now I'll search for an RX-Norm term. So again, it won't find anything in ICD-10 because it's not a disease, but it should find something in RX-Norm. And it did, it found a lot of stuff. We can click on any of these, and it'll bring us to the RX-Norm atom number and a few extra bits of information about it. And so now we can look at the search options, and we can change the amount of auto-completion results, and if we want we can turn it off entirely. And then here we can right now we're searching ICD codes and RX-Norm codes, but we can also add in ICD chapters or sections, or if we want, we can take out RX-Norm or take out ICD. And then up here we can choose to search by keyword or code, and I was just searching by keywords, but I'll show you what a code search looks like. We'll do one for ICD-10. So for example, C13, and it'll autocomplete the code this time instead of autocompleting the keywords. And we can click on any of these and it'll bring us to the same information that we get when we search by keyword. So that way if you have a code but you don't know the term, you can search that way. Of course, a big goal of this project was to get this information onto a mobile device. Here's some screenshots of TOMCAT running on an iPhone. You can see that the site is still usable and readable in both portrait and landscape mode. So, how does it work? For the front end, we use AJAX calls, so the auto-completion results will appear near instantly, with no new pages needed to be loaded. Because of the sheer size of the databases, we decided to store them server-side and use PHP scripts to call the information. It is slightly slower than keeping the data locally, but it means the end users don't need to download a several megabyte app just to do a search. The RxNorm and ICD-10 datasets needed to be converted to our database format, and keywords needed to be extracted. With this project, we are proud to say that we accomplished essentially everything we set out to do. We successfully implemented the RxNorm and ICD-10 databases. TOMCAT works well on any modern mobile device that has internet access. Users can search both ICD-10 and RxNorm, or either one at a time, and they can look up search terms using keywords or by searching the code directly. Finally, we implemented a very fast auto-completion for keywords and codes that makes it so users don't have to type out long terms using a small virtual keyboard. Moreover, we proved that it is possible to combine two completely separate datasets into one easy-to-use search tool. Simply showing that this can be done well is perhaps the most novel part of the whole project. And we designed TOMCAT in such a way that it could easily be adapted to other datasets in the future without too much trouble. Because our project is purely software, there is no cost for the end user to use it, obviously aside from the cost of owning a phone or a computer with internet access. Instead, the cost falls solely on development costs and the price to maintain the server. Because of our limited resources, we weren't able to test the load put on the server, so we can't accurately estimate how much it would cost to provide TOMCAT to the users. As for testing, we did some testing to measure the response time of our queries. We found that the response times were wildly dependent on how busy the server was with its other tasks, which were out of our control. So again, because we didn't have access to a server that could handle only TOMCAT, we weren't able to make any sort of accurate measurements. Thanks for taking interest in our senior design project. We're very happy with our final product, and we learned a lot in the process.